here it is at last, the Helios Tarot forecast for the month, or Tarot Horoscope drawn specifically for your astrological zodiac sign. I'm B.R. Newman, in case you didn't know that already. Check out my website, IamHelios.com, through the link below, and consider everything that I have to offer there. Consider signing up to receive any number of the personal readings that I offer, or consider signing up to take a course. The choice is yours. There's a lot to explore there. Also consider checking out Annie Botticelli's Storyteller forecasts to see the astrological side of everything you're going to see here. It's fascinating, I promise. So, okay, I guess we'll just jump right into it. Okay, Pisces, here it is, your 5-card tarot spread for the month. Now, this is a kind of condensed Golden Dawn spread, which uses 15 cards, but in this case, we have 5 cards, but to the same effect. We have a central theme, 2-dimensional timeline options, or choices that you can make at this fork in the road, a past section, and a fate section. In your central theme, don't be alarmed, you have the 10 of Swords. Now, the 10 of Swords, like all 10s in tarot, is associated with Malkuth on the Tree of Life, and as manifest through air, or swords in this case, this is actually a lesson learned, humility gained, and usually through the experience of dissolution, something being dissolved and disintegrated. And so Malkuth is the kingdom, the realm, the world, the actualized, the plane of actualized potentials, we'll say. And so, as manifests through air, you can expect that due to the nature of the air or swords suit, that you have a karmic balance being restored. You know, some kind of payment is made. So that's as simple as it is. And you can figure out exactly what this is talking about by considering the payment that you're making right now, considering the karmic debts that you are balancing at this point. So that can allow you to bring this to a much more specific level. And you're not alone here. Everyone is bringing balance to some area of imbalance they contributed to at some point in their lives. It's just due to the nature of life itself. But this is merely a way of letting you know precisely what this particular tarot spread is speaking to. So by no means are any of you members of the Piscean family being singled out as if you have done some wrong that others have not. No. This central theme is simply illustrating the areas to which you should direct your attention to figure out the realms in which you can apply this insight offered here today. So on either side of this central theme, you have 2-dimensional timeline options. The first being the 3 of Swords. Now the 3 of Swords, like all 3s in tarot, is associated with Binah on the Tree of Life, which has to do with the left hemisphere of the brain. So deductive reasoning, logic, and so on. It's the compartmentalizing and actualizing plane. So the right hemisphere of the brain imagines what could be, and then the left hemisphere of the brain knows how to make that happen. And so, ideally, if you're working with both synergistically, you can actualize potentiality, practicing in real time your manifestation ability to create the world scenarios that you find favorable. So as I'm sure you could figure by now, since the 10 of Swords does involve a sort of balancing of karma, the 3 of Swords is a predecessor to that, so it comes with a warning. The 3 of Swords, in this case, is the experience of indecision and the consequence that ensues because of that indecision. Perhaps you don't act fast enough, or maybe you act a little too fast and haven't figured out exactly where your allegiance lies, what you truly believe, what you truly stand for, and then the action occurs and you have to make up for that later. That's a theme that you'll find carrying all the way through the Swords suit, you know, the Ace through 10, and even in the court cards as well. So this is a time, clearly, for reflecting upon the nature of the principle of cause and effect, and your role relative to that, how you use that principle. And so you couldn't ask for a more perfect alternative dimensional timeline. The Eon is all about that, reflecting on precisely that, how you play into the whole story arc of your life, precisely how the choices you make determine your reality. So the Eon also offers a doorway to a whole new paradigm, an entirely new way of doing things and responding to things and experiencing things. So this is a full spectrum makeover, you could say. On the other side of the Eon door, you're a different person with different eyes looking at a different world. Of course, you have the same heart. You're still really, truly, deep down the same individual experiencing all of this. You're the same representation of the collective consciousness of all sentience itself, but you have a different experience on the other side of that. It's as simple as that. So to get to that point, you have to figure out exactly what it is you've been doing wrong. The 10 of Swords is right in your face. You couldn't possibly miss it. So that makes it quite easy for you. You know precisely what this tarot spread is speaking to. So those are the facets of your life in which you can expect to experience and witness true transformation and transfiguration, total reversal of the patterns that no longer serve you. So that's the ideal form. So we want to optimize your ability to navigate this terrain as consciously as you can. So let's consider more the nature of the Three of Swords, so you can figure out perhaps a little more clearly what not to do and how not to do it. Considering the dichotomy at hand, you know what to do, deep down. Your heart is telling you. So long as you can bypass the distractions and the confusion that is being offered by systems and psychological constructs that no longer serve you, you should be able to get right in touch with the solution to the Ten of Swords paradigm predicament that you have happening right now. Of course, this is not saying that your general read here is one of ruin, as the Ten of Swords would imply if this were talking about your general life situation, but the best that we can offer when doing a reading for such a vast array of individuals within one particular category, this one being Pisces, offer assistance in the process of zeroing in on the areas of life that are being affected in this way, that, are rich with the potential for transformation and growth. Seeing as how the Ten of Swords is in your central theme, there's been a lot of action, there's been a lot of decision making, a lot of consequences being dealt with, a kind of a mess, really. And the Three of Swords is just a continuation of that, a reactivation of the sword suit. So, clearly, you need to step back, prioritize, and rethink and re-strategize. And the Aeon represents the path upon which you do exactly that. So in short, don't make decisions because you're pressured to. Don't make decisions if you feel that you're indecisive, if you don't know what to do. Don't do something for the sake of it. This is a time for stepping back and rethinking things. So it's analysis time, study time. Run the simulations in your mind before actually doing anything. If you feel indecisive, that's probably a cue to not do something, because that would, of course, mean that you were taking the Three of Swords path, which is, in this case, definitely not favorable, because you don't want any more of this Ten of Swords energy. By adopting the Three of Swords path, you will be, by default, stepping back into those old systems that do result in the Ten of Swords experience of everything just kind of crumbling for the sake of, allowing you to establish some sense of humility at your core. So if you just go ahead and do that, just humble yourself into the position where you can't make a decision, perhaps. Maybe step back from whatever positions of power you have, just for the sake of making sure you don't do the wrong thing. So temporarily step out of the way and allow the opportunities to present themselves so you can choose from them. This is not, of course, saying that you can't take action. No, but if you feel indecisive about the action that you feel pressured to take, that's a sign you shouldn't do it. Okay, the Aeon, of course, does imply some action. You do have to clean some things up, and you do have to very carefully and meticulous plant some seeds, because those seeds are going to sprout into a plant that will eventually grow a doorway at its base, right? So you can walk through that into a whole new tree of life storyline. So the context or the true nature of this situation was sort of set in motion by your past section here, which is the Princess of Cups. Now, all of these 16 cards align with the 16 Myers-Briggs personality profiles. Now, of course, this is based in Jungian psychology, so there's no surprises there. The archetypes match perfectly. So in this case, the Princess of Cups is the INFP, or the introverted intuitive feeling perceiver. This is a personality that is quite in line with the nature of Pisces itself. So how could you being yourself as you truly are, how could the energy of you simply being as you are by default inspire the experience of the Ten of Swords? Well, in this case, there is action that is being taken by you that is not in alignment with who you truly are, usually pressured by other people. So you're doing too much for other people, it's time to prioritize self, hence the Aeon as one of your options. So getting in touch with who you truly are and what you truly want, that's essential here. And that's precisely what the Princess of Cups has opened up for you. The opportunity here is to get back in touch with who you truly are through the experience of action taken in accordance with that, rather than, taken due to peer pressure, societal pressure, or parental pressure maybe. So this personality profile in your past is giving you perspective in the current situation, in your central theme. It's what's revealing the nature of the Ten of Swords. So it's sort of the nature of the Ten of Swords becomes revealed as it is compared to your true self. So the degree to which your current paradigm is out of line with who you truly are is the degree to which the Swords suit has been acted upon you. And the illusion, of course, is that this is being acted upon you. This being a matter of your responsibility is also, good news, a matter of your control and your decisions. So I would advise that you get very familiar with this principle of cause and effect, because that is the prerequisite to stepping through that door that will be presented along your Aeon path. So very simply, pertaining to the areas of your life that you feel are a bit in shambles, You can either make a choice out of pressure, make a choice from a place of indecision, not knowing what to do. And if you do that, you will face the consequences of that. You will reactivate the Ten of Swords, and you won't really get anywhere. You'll face the consequence of that indecision, and that's sort of counterproductive. You've been there. You're already mopping up that mess. So the way really to navigate this, to avoid that, is to step back, take no action, and then run the simulations in your mind. Figure out exactly what would happen if you did this or that, and then very carefully strategize your next series of moves. You could say, to put a time frame on it, for this month. Okay, very carefully plan everything. And this has all been set in motion because of who you truly are as you are. So that just provides some perspective, really. That's all that does. So the Ten of Swords represents the degree to which your current situation is out of alignment with who you truly are, as represented by the Princess of Cups in your past. And finally, this is all leading to your fate section, the Two of Discs. The Two of Discs, of course, being associated with Sphere of 2 on the Tree of Life. We had 3 before, which was the left hemisphere of the brain, and this here is the right hemisphere of the brain. So you're stepping back to the realm of imagination in the future. So this is a whole new theme, a whole new story that you're starting at that point. You can imagine new potentials and set new chains of cause and effect in motion at that point. But first, you have to study the nature of that principle of cause and effect through your experience of the eon, through weighing the pros and cons, and very carefully, meticulously prioritizing and developing strategies according to the simulations that you run in your mind. So when you get to this point, then you can really fully step off of that whole psychological circus in which you're doing tricks for other people based on psychological constructs that aren't representative of who you truly are, and certainly aren't in line with that, and certainly aren't creating more of a world that serves who you truly are. Stepping away from the sword suit entirely and onto a completely different element. Sphere of 2, as manifest through discs, is the element of earth. And this is very substantial, the most reliable, dependable, and solid of foundations you can hope for. So this particular card represents a very strong launch pad from which you can allow new realities to spring forth into being. But to do that successfully, you have to have the proper motivation. You have to understand, completely guilt-free, with a squeaky clean conscience, that there is such a thing as a healthy dose of selfishness. And that about wraps us up, so thank you so much for listening to this. Check out my website at the link below, IamHelios.com. Consider everything that I have to offer there. I'm offering readings right now. We can go so much deeper, take this so much further, taking a vast wellspring of resources into account. Of course, astrology and tarot, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and cutting-edge science. There's so much to consider, and you can take this so far and do so much with it. So I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much.